Hello. I was just doing my eyebrows. And while I was doing my eyebrows, I put on one of Khadija and Bo's most recent videos where they talk about Sabrina Carpenter. And one of the things that Khadija said, like immediately, like had me have a thought that now brought me here. And they said something about kind of talking about both sides of something, and that like clicked like that like hooked onto something in my brain where like I don't know, immediately there was this part of my brain that immediately, or like, look at me talking about myself as my brain. I am so much fucking more than my brain. Why do I even think everything is going on in my brain? Huh? It's not like anyway. But yeah, like something, it reminded me of a specific time on the interwebs, on Instagram, where in the queer leftist bubble that I was moving in, it became kind of almost like a marker of your morality or your, I don't know, like it became like suddenly we were proud of the fact that we weren't like, I don't know, engaging in generative conflict. Like we were priding ourselves on not seeing both sides. Like, I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know. So basically, I don't even know what I'm trying to say is that one of the best things, arguably, that I did for myself and for the rest of the world and everyone who engages with me, and for my ability to engage with the world and actually have agency and actually maybe have the ability to change some minds or interact with people, or just, I don't know, be a person that doesn't see every other person as their enemy, and be like a politically like and be a person who has like political agency in the world. One of the best things I did for that was to get off social media and to like really like to delete my Instagram account. Like I didn't delete my Instagram account, to delete Instagram, the app, off my phone, and really limit my time on that app, because I think it is like there are so many smart people on there, and there are a lot of things that I miss about Instagram, and I still, every time I do open Instagram in my browser, I am immediately kind of overwhelmed almost by people saying really smart things that are really kind of hooking me and vibing with me. But also, it is an app that I think is like really bad for any kind of democratic engagement, or like, I don't know, just it's an app that makes us hate each other. It's an app that doesn't like that kind of that models the opposite of healthy conflict. The more time I spent on that app, the less I like, the more hopeless I felt. The more I felt like everyone who didn't think the exact same as me was a bad person, or that I needed to change their mind. And like, I don't know. It's like, I mean, it is an app that is owned by, designed by, and like exists to enrich white supremacists and and fascists. So like, no surprise there that an app made by Mark Zuckerberg, someone who has like, an app run by white supremacists, obviously will, I don't know, reflect some of these ideologies. And yeah, I don't know. It's wild. I don't even know. I don't remember who I was watching, who said this, but it's so fucked up because like we like I don't know, I watched something or read something about how like we were given these platforms to communicate. I think it was probably this one person who does these cool like YouTube shorts on etymology. I think, yeah, I don't know. Probably something about his name is etymology nerd. But yeah, how like we were given these platforms that or and that like radically transformed the way that we were able to communicate with each other and who we were able to communicate with, and how we even like it completely transformed our concept of communication and being in the world and being in communication with the world and other people. And like in the beginning, it was very inviting. It was like, I don't know, it felt so frivolous. It felt like a fun thing, and like gradually it became more and more of this, I don't know, like it became more and more of this thing that like was just a regular part of everyone's life, and almost that is like, I don't know, like in so many branches, or like so many people's lives like are like would be much harder, or like people believe that they can't actually continue their lives without these platforms, and a lot of people are actually dependent on these platforms for making money, for their livelihood. And even if it's not true, like they're doing a really like these platforms are doing a really good job at telling us that. And and they really mess so much. I don't know, it's just like, I think honestly Instagram is just next level colonization of the mind. It's just, yeah, it's our current version of colonialism. Like these, yeah, like I don't know, the way that we are, I don't know, that our language, and I don't know, like obviously like I don't know, change is inevitable, like, and I'm not against change, like, but I don't know, I like, and I'm not saying that Instagram like is all bad and stuff, but it's just, I don't know, like I really loved this platform for like Instagram for a really long time. It was, but then again, like I don't know, I didn't love it because it's the greatest thing that ever existed. I loved it because it was accessible, because it was accessible for me as someone who is suffering the consequences of colonial capitalism. And I don't know, like I'm kind of, I don't really want to I don't know, I don't need to try and figure this entire argument out, but basically, I don't know, just the fact that listening to Khadija Mbo, this like who is known for being like a very, I don't know, I don't even know, like I don't want to put them into some sort of political, I don't know, like corner, because I don't think that they would appreciate that. But like I feel like that their ideas are inherently emancipatory and liberatory, and like humanistic, or just like yeah, I don't know, trying like they're a cool person, and they're like I really resonate a lot with their politics, and just the fact that them saying like that they have to kind of like, I don't know, I got almost a bit like worried for them when they said that they were gonna like entertain both sides, because it like it kind of, I don't know, like hooked onto some almost like traumatic memory of, yeah, I don't know, it's like, yeah, like there were like there were that have been there's so weird things like community wise, and like, I don't know, like there's so much weird stuff going on. So I don't know, I don't know, and I know it's really fucking scary to, and I'm not saying that my way is the best way. I'm not, just for who I am, for how my system works, I have noticed that really disengaging and like like decentering these platforms as much as possible, and just that has been like a really important part of my, I don't know, like healing journey almost, and my process, and like kind of, I would like to think of my healing journey as like a kind of transformative process towards, I don't know, engaging with the world within a more, I don't know, in an attitude that is informed by transformative justice. And yeah, and like, and you won't get that. You won't get that via Instagram, even if there are people who are kind of talking about these issues. Um, and I don't know, like I'm really, I don't know. We don't need them, I think. I don't know. But I'm also just me, and I'm like talking from a very privileged perspective in a lot of ways, and in a not so privileged perspective in other ways. But in like, in the grand scheme of things, I'm talking from an incredibly privileged perspective. Um so yeah, this is not me like shitting on anyone who is, and also like not in a like paternalistic way, like do what you want, but like I can just like do what you want. I don't know you, I'm not you, but I just see, like whenever I go on Instagram, and I just see the way that people behave, and I see how they interact, and I don't think that it's helpful. I don't think that like it's actually, like, I don't think it's helpful in a collective sense, and I also don't think it's helpful in an individual sense. And obviously everyone's relationship to these platforms is different, everyone is different, and I still engage with other platforms that also have their drawbacks. But I just think that yeah, I like, why did I film this in a vertical mode again? I feel like I should have known that I wasn't gonna that it wasn't gonna be less than 3 minutes. So, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I just wanted to air this out, whatever this is, and really, I also I okay. One last thing. I'm trying to make this the last thing, especially if your values, your like political values, your whatever, what you believe in, like, especially if those values are the opposite of, why is my nose red? I think I'm cold. It's spring, but like it's still currently 17 degrees Celsius in my apartment, and it's been a bit cold. But what I'm trying to say is, this is one way that you could like, I'm so distracted by my nose being red. I don't know. I think that the more, like, living in colonial capitalism, living in these institutions and structures and systems that we are forced to live in is in so many ways inherently disembodying, especially if we, if our values don't align with the norms of these systems. Um, but and there are a lot of ways that we cannot escape these dynamics, but I think that it does benefit us to try and find ways to be in the world in to be in the world and engage with the world in ways that cause less cognitive dissonance, because like cognitive dissonance is really painful if we have to feel it. So a lot of the time, like if we constantly experience a lot of cognitive dissonance and there's no kind of break from that, like especially with like, so for example, we go to work, we go into the world, like there are so many ways in which we cannot escape this cognitive dissonance, especially like, yeah, depending on kind of the jobs that we're working. We're always kind of moving in these moral and ethical dilemmas that we can't really get out of. But especially when it comes to like social media and Instagram, the way that I used it, like I feel like Instagram was the place where I was the most vulnerable, where that like Instagram was in my bed, it was everywhere. It was with me constantly. I never turned it off when I used it, like, and I always felt bad about it. Like I always hated myself for spending so much time on this app. But it was really hard not doing it. And and but that's not even what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is just, I think it matters. It matters what we engage with, what we like, especially in times where our attention, especially when it comes to these tech platforms, these like tech conglomerates and social media platforms, where basically our attention equals money. It more so than ever matters where we put our attention, because where we put our attention and what we put our attention on, what we pay attention to grows. So I think it really benefits us to try and, like, in the ways that we can, which is different for everyone, but I don't know, try and investigate kind of where could I like where could I do more in the sense of like living in alignment with my values? Where could I try and minimize cognitive dissonance, so that it becomes more bearable to exist in my body without feeling overwhelmed by the shame of constantly engaging with things that I know aren't good for me or the world. And like shame is another like issue, and like it's not your fault and stuff, but like that's just how like we are wired. So if our days are filled with things that, like, once we actually start kind of thinking about them, if like all of our days are filled with stuff that like would make us feel shame, especially when we spend time on Instagram, that kind of reinforces that thinking. That just makes it very hard for us to be in our bodies, makes it very hard for us to regulate our nervous system and to kind of to believe that we are good and worthy and to trust ourselves. It makes us like less resilient in the face of conflict, and it makes us more defensive because, like, essentially, like, I don't know, like I've been talking for 20 minutes. How is that? Now I'm even now it bugs me even more that I did this in this way. But anyway, I don't know if any of that, like, you know what? I was just gonna say, I don't know if any of that made sense, but like it made sense to me, and I'm sure it's gonna make sense to some people. I know this is hard. This is not me saying you're doing something wrong. This is me saying, I know it's hard, and this is what helped me be more okay in the world and kind of get to know myself with less judgment. And yeah, so if Instagram is something that plays a big role in your life, and the things that I said in this video resonated with you, then I encourage you to try and, I don't know, at least consider like taking like just, I don't know, it can just be like a day or two or a week, just so you notice. And it doesn't have to be, I don't know, just like give yourself time to investigate your relationship with this platform. Kind of like, I don't know, when you're kind of like we are kind of told to give like it, like when we're in abusive relationships, like when we're in like manipulative relationships, like the thing that makes it so hard to get out of these relationships is because they are so isolating, and because like it becomes, because we are so kind of like wrapped up in this relationship and in this other person, we don't get any distance, don't get any time away from it, and we're just like we need distance in order to see how things are affecting us and how we actually feel about it, and what we might be doing different, and maybe it doesn't even come with a change in behavior, like, or for a long time, or like with a drastic change of behavior, but I don't know. I think maybe it's at least kind of investigate how it makes you feel, how it makes you feel, and whether that's something that's, I don't know, like, it's okay. We don't always have the capacity to change things, but I also think that these platforms keep us in a state of thinking that we can't actually change anything, or that the way that we change things is by being on these platforms, and that's honestly really not my experience. That's really quite the opposite. Like I like not like I also believed that me posting things on these platforms changed something. I have no idea. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but like I definitely feel like I have a lot more agency and impact on how I feel and how I interact and engage with the world and other people now that I've got so much more distance from these platforms, and my identity and sense of self is like not connected to who I was performing there, and like, yeah, whatever. I'm talking in circles, and I want to go to the library to continue working on my bachelor's thesis. Wish me luck, and yeah, I hope you have a good day. I love you. Let's drink some water. I still haven't like. It's actually water with freshly squeezed lemon and some ginger. Because I'm trying to be kind to my body. Because I know when my body feels good, then I feel good. Because, well, I'm not just my body, I'm also not my body, you know? Okay, that's it. I love you. Take a deep breath. You are here now, and that's really fucking cool. So, yeah. I'm really glad you're here. I'm glad you exist. Thank you for watching. I said this already. Goodbye. Mwah.